Historic nuclear deal with Iran reached in the middle of the night. Secretary of State John Kerry and the Iranian foreign minister, along with foreign ministers from 5 other world powers, all smiles in Geneva, Switzerland, as they announced the deal in the wee hours. President Obama then making a rare Saturday night statement from the White House.
Today, that diplomacy opened up a new path toward a world that is more secure, a future in which we can verify that Iran's nuclear program is peaceful and that it cannot build a nuclear weapon.
Now, we should say here, not everybody agrees that this deal will make the world safer. So let's go straight now to ABC's chief foreign correspondent, Terry Moran, who was right there in Geneva watching this whole thing play out. Terry, good morning. Walk us through the nuts and bolts of this deal first.
Okay, Dan, what an extraordinary scene it was in the wee hours in that hotel behind me after a marathon session. Here's what you need to know. This is a temporary deal, but it is still a big deal. Iran has agreed to freeze much of its nuclear program, and it has agreed to open up key nuclear facilities to daily inspections by international officials, and it will degrade some of that dangerous near weapons-grade uranium that it's got down to a more peaceful form. What does Iran get? Money. $6 to $7 billion in sanctions relief. That's really a small portion of the crippling sanctions which have brought Iran's economy to its knees. And finally, this is a temporary agreement, 6 months to buy time, build confidence, try and achieve a comprehensive deal, as the president was describing. That's a far, far tougher thing to do, though.
And Terry, this has caused a major divide between the U.S. and Israel. President Obama is saying that the deal opens a new path toward a world that is more secure. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu counters that by saying today the world has become much more dangerous. So who's right here?
Well, that depends on what happens next. But there's no question that Israel and many critics of this deal, Democrats as well as Republicans in the United States, they don't want to see a freeze of Iran's nuclear program. They want to see a rollback to zero. No reactors going, no centrifuges spinning, enriching uranium, not one scientist working on the problem. And the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has made clear that he is willing to act unilaterally and militarily down the road if he feels this deal doesn't work.
Nonetheless, history in the making right there in Geneva, Switzerland, and our Terry Moran on the front lines. Once again, our chief foreign correspondent, Terry Moran. Terry, thank you. And there will be much more on this historic news coming up later this morning, right here on ABC, on This Week with George Stephanopoulos, as George speaks directly with Secretary of State John Kerry.